Hey guys, Useless here, and today I want to talk about the Zachary Edward Snyder cut of Justice League. And I wanted to talk about it because we're not getting what people wanted, right? Now, before I get into it, I just want to be clear that this video is not negative, okay? If you're someone who is excited for the Snyder cut, I am not trying to rain on your parade. I'm merely pointing out something that I've noticed. But anyways, I think we should first talk about how the Snyder Cut came about. In March of 2016, Zack Snyder's daughter committed suicide, and Zack Snyder decided to leave Justice League, which was still in production, in order to be with his family. He initially intended to come back to the project, but he kind of just came to a realization that he needed to stay with his family. And obviously that is a totally valid decision to make. I can't even imagine what it's like losing a child like that, but I don't know if a close family member of mine ever, if I ever had to go through a situation like this, I can tell you that I would absolutely just try to be as close to my family as possible. But nevertheless, Justice League was in need of a new director in order to finish it. So Joss Whedon, the director of Avengers and Avengers Age of Ultron, ironically enough, was brought on. And we were told that Joss Whedon would merely be taking Zack's movie, which was reportedly almost done filming, and just sort of take it over the finish line, right? You know, with Zack Snyder's original vision remaining intact. When people saw the movie, however, they just kind of got this feeling that this isn't what Zack Snyder's original vision was. To a lot of fans, the movie felt like it was trying to take the bones of Zack's movie and trying to sort of Frankenstein's monster it into a Marvel film. The color grading was weirdly saturated, it tried way too hard to be funny in certain scenes.
Well, I knew you didn't bring me back because you like me.
I don't. Not.
Bruh. The movie just felt messy and tonally inconsistent overall. Oh yeah, and there was the Henry Cavill lip thing. Fans could just kind of tell that after Zack Snyder's departure, Warner Brothers and Joss Whedon just kind of tried to make a more sort of, I guess, commercially friendly movie, or I guess just a movie that's sort of responding to a lot of the backlash to Batman v Superman. And those fans definitely spoke up. They demanded that Warner Brothers release Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League. And, it sort of just became known as the Snyder Cut. And these people were persistent. They wrote tweets, they wrote change.org petitions, they even bought billboards in Times Square. They were not taking no for an answer here. The problem, however, was that there wasn't a Snyder cut that was ready to be released. Snyder had a rough cut of the movie, but it wasn't finished. There was still a ton of work that needed to be done on it. A ton of work that would cost a ton of money. And it just didn't make sense for Warner Brothers to spend that kind of money on a movie that was already a disappointment at the box office. Until HBO Max. With HBO Max jumping on the scene, Warner Media was looking for a way to advertise their streaming service. So that's where completing the Snyder Cut actually became justifiable. As an HBO Max thing, the Snyder Cut wouldn't have to make its money back. It would only have to get people interested in signing up to the service. And thus, it was announced. The Snyder Cut is coming to HBO Max. But is it actually coming to HBO Max? I don't think so. What we're getting on HBO Max is not what Zack Snyder was originally going to release in theaters. First of all, it's going to be 4 hours, which is a lot. I mean, thankfully, it's going to be released weekly, so it's essentially going to be a mini-series. Although I'm sure a lot of you kids out there would just love to bask in the glory that is the Snyder Cut for 4 hours. But there's no way that the theatrical cut was ever going to be 4 hours long. The second thing that makes me feel like this whole Snyder Cut thing isn't what we originally thought was the fact that Zack Snyder is actively shooting more of Justice League, which is insane just to think about. This is a movie that came out in 2017. But he is actively shooting more for this movie. As we had understood it, or at least as it was reported, Zack Snyder was basically done shooting the movie. Most of the work that had to be done was post-production work. And now, I guess maybe these scenes aren't necessarily like new content, but maybe Zack Snyder just wasn't happy with some of the scenes that he shot. And, you know, movies always have, you know, scheduled reshoots, so maybe he's just picking up on those reshoots 3 years later. But what makes me think that that's not the case is that Deathstroke and the Joker are being added to this thing. Now, I know that Deathstroke was in the post-credits scene of the theatrical cut, so maybe there were certain scenes that Zack had already planned to shoot with Deathstroke, but as far as I know, Joker was never a part of this. So, yeah, sort of what I'm saying here, and what the point of this video is kind of, Zack Snyder isn't just making the movie that he originally wanted to make. This isn't his original vision. He's clearly changing it somewhat and adding new elements into the story. I doubt he's completely altering the movie like Warner Brothers and Joss Whedon did, but this isn't what fans were valiantly fighting for. However, I can't really say whether that's a good or a bad thing. I have not seen the Snyder Cut. I have not seen Zack Snyder's original rough cut of the movie. Listen, I'm not one of these Hollywood elites like Kevin Smith, who I guess was just randomly chilling with Zack Snyder one day and he was like, "Hey man, you want to watch my cut of Justice League?" So I don't know if this is something that needed more to it, or if adding all of this stuff will ruin the impeccable cinematic masterpiece that he had. But anyways, what do you think of all this? I'm personally amazed that this is even happening at all, but I'm also genuinely curious to see what Zack does with this. I'm personally mixed on Zack's other DC outings, but I've always appreciated that they are his vision, right? Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, and even something like Watchmen, like, those were Zack Snyder's vision. I hate the theatrical cut of Justice League. The Frankenstein's monster nature of it just makes it feel so soulless to me. Say what you will about Zachary, but he's got soul. I don't know what that means. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments down below. Remember to comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified whenever I upload a video. I'm saying the things that YouTubers say at the ends of their videos, so do all of that, and goodbye.